You know, I knew I was in for something with this fandom when someone sent me a video made for kids that featured a high school character being bullied, thrown in a locker, and having her clothes destroyed by a tentacle monster, all within 9 seconds. How about a video asking underage people to put their character descriptions in the comments to join a school that teaches characters how to be intimate? Or how about this, a video where a man abducts a teenage gacha girl and injects her with a mysterious substance that causes her to bring 4 new blood-red gacha children into the world. Well, as I'm sure you've come to expect from this series, these are all real videos made by the Gacha Life fandom, and there's a hell of a lot more where that came from. So, if you're sufficiently shocked enough to stay tuned, stick around for the full story. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be, and I think the answer is plain to see. Alright, where are you now? Bloody hell, what are those? Those aren't the Germans!
Fire the incest cannon! Show them how tough the Gacha Empire really is! Aim the turret straight for that trench! I see a sniper glint!
The Gacha Life fandom is extremely unique, to say the least. Rather than it being like the Bluey fandom or the Loud House fandom, where people take random underage character number 13 and make them flirt with their self-insert OC, Gacha Life is an entirely user-driven community. Every video, every meme, every tutorial, every gay fantasy video are all made by people who poured their own blood, sweat, and tears into crafting these rich and juicy storylines. So what makes this worse is that every insane thing you're about to see today is all derived entirely from the minds of individuals and the community itself. Even crazier, all of this is done on mobile phones. That's right, the tormented iPad kids of the mid-2010s have found a new outlet for their trauma. And inevitably, this fandom actually extends far beyond its point of origination, behaving much like the transfer phenomenon. We'll take a look at those spaces too, but to lend some context to this whole thing, I want to give some backstory to the game, as well as actually downloading Gacha Life to see the whole process behind making one of these digital masterpieces. The company behind these games is known as Luname, I think that's how you pronounce it, who has been developing primarily mobile games since around 2014. They've been crafting heart-stopping, thrilling masterstrokes of video game development such as Flappy RPG, Doge Swing, and Flappy Anime. You know what, just give it up, Elden Ring and Stalker 2, because anime fidget spinner battle ain't gonna go down easy at the Game of the Year awards. But, in terms of developing their current most popular line of games, the Gacha series, that can be traced back to a game called Anime Gacha, which had the usual tropes of unboxing characters like one of those gacha machines in Japan. You could do RPG battles and fight bosses and stuff, I don't know where that comes from, whatever. Pretty run-of-the-mill so far. So, when exactly did the modern versions of Gacha begin appearing? That all started with Gacha Studio in 2017, which later became Gacha Life in 2018. This is where all this shit started. It began quickly gaining popularity with it peaking in, can you guess the year?
Look at me,
Subsequent games, such as Gacha Club and the recently announced Gacha Life 2, have only sustained its popularity into the current day, with other platforms such as Roblox creating incredibly popular spin-offs with the wonderful addition of being able to talk to other Gacha fans. I can imagine that might be a death sentence to many of you. But, for simplicity's sake, let's jump into how Gacha Life works at the user level. As you can clearly see, the interface is quite simple. At first, we're greeted with an EULA that everybody clearly follows. The home screen allows you to pick and customize a character with a pretty large array of items and clothing styles. You collect these diamond things somehow, which allow you to open gacha loot boxes or something. It's basically like gambling for kids with some like kawaii flair to it.
But Jax, in Japan, they have these cool vending machine things where you can get mystery loot box toys and stuff it.
Yeah, I know, I was there this summer. Yes, I went to the Drunken Clan. There's also a little area to throw some characters down, give them animations, and play around with whatever you want. You can also play the actual life minigame, where you can just talk to and befriend random characters in like Roblox text dialogue interactions. Woohoo! You can also play other micro games with your characters, among other things. Now, here's where the fun begins. See this little button right here? Yeah, the skit maker button. This is where all the fun goes down. Using this relatively simple editor, one can create what is essentially a PowerPoint presentation featuring all of their characters talking, moving, and emoting. Here's what I made in about 10 minutes. I hope you enjoy it. My pitch to Warner Bros. Is tomorrow. Huh? What do we think? Alright guys, great bit. That was really fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause and I'll see you next time. But hang on. How the hell did a game like this, entirely single player and seemingly made for like 11-year-old girls to play diet two-dimensional dress to impress on as an anime character, become so utterly deranged? That, my friend, is what we'll be answering in the rest of the video.
But really quickly, we have to do Two-Buck Troop Roll Call! Unusual, Chief Guy Bracelet, Yellow, Prime Type of TV Cat Mask, Jeff, Toot, Frisk, Antelip, Casper's Pizza, and ZNN, Chloe Beavers, Fisk, Spec Norway, Nep, Callow Fox, Tibet Korkmaz, Doog, Kiros, Dragaroth, Mika Henderson, and Gameboy Patreon. Alongside Pink Floyd Fanatic, Zode, Socially Awkward, Devogen, Drake, Alamova, Blueberry Bandy, Ali Elman, Sip Ryan, Planet, Wild Sunny, and Zacro. Enlist in the Two-Buck Troop by using the link in the description.
Let me be the first to humbly introduce you to the wonderful world of Gacha Heat. But to ensure whether or not it's right for you, I'm gonna have to ask you a few questions. Do you like anime and or Japanese influenced art? Awesome! Me too! Do you like animations made by small, independent creators, many of them being teenagers with a passion for the arts? Wow, how cool! I love supporting indie creators too. Independent creators, and finally, for the last question, do you a real Gacha fan? Do you like videos that often feature underage characters engaging in certain acts while being public on YouTube for anyone to see, oftentimes the siblings being intimate? Yo, who fucking told me to... Who wrote this script? No? Well, I guess you're not a real Gacha Lifer, because apparently these videos are popular enough to receive hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of views. Such as Gacha Heat, Yes, Mommy Uwu, or Layla's
Rare and Forced Laborer.
Or how about Her Little Prisoner, Gacha Fart plus Heat. Oh, and by the way, those 3 videos have a combined view count of 5 million views. That's like my entire channel. What is so shocking to me about this fandom is how literally nobody talks about it. A fandom mostly made of children is completely and utterly a Wild West, rampant with some of the most insanely depraved content one can legally find on the internet, and then some. If you search up anything related to the Gacha Life fandom or its subsidiary games, all you'll see is people from within the fandom making their own unrelated videos about the fandom, or this other popular series of videos where like different fandoms come together and react to each other or just other things. I don't know. It reminds me a lot of the Loud House fandom in this way, where prior to my video, most people hadn't seen the true depths of the fandom before. While searching for Gacha Life videos on YouTube, you can very easily stumble across the wonderful world of Gacha Heat. Remember those Roblox transfer games and how it was like 100% of fish but wasn't overtly an SFW? Yeah, this is the same kind of thing. But instead of spooky ghost creatures, it's some random 15-year-old from your favorite anime getting with the creator's own self-insert. And if you're thinking, hey, this has to be a small part of the fandom, every fandom has something like this, which was the case for some of my earlier videos, well, you might want to see this. 24 million views in 16 videos is mind-boggling. See what I mean when I say I'm genuinely shocked at how this has gone completely undiscovered? Because of how deep this issue goes, the whole video is going to surround mostly the direct and indirect effects of this part of the fandom. For now though, let's explore YouTube and see how out of control this has gotten. Alright, watch closely. I'm simply going to type GA into the YouTube search bar. It's like a loot box, but instead of what you get being worth like 13 cents in the Steam Marketplace, it may be 13 years in some kind of institution or behind bars, you have been warned. Do you notice something? Maybe it's the instant YouTube recommendation of Gacha Heat videos alongside Gacha Life Gay, Gacha Poop, Gacha Wage, which I'm pretty sure is a misspelling of Wedgie. Simply searching up Gacha Heat yields an immediately disturbing result. A video simply titled Gacha Fart is displayed. This video, taking place over an agonizing 34 seconds, features a pretty basic premise. These two cat people things kidnap some random girl from her school and take her to a prison. They then force her to lie on the ground so they can unleash the most vile and disgusting farts onto her as possible. She's slowly covered in gacharia by one of the characters, only for the other one to start doing the same while playing gross moaning sounds that for your viewing pleasure I promise I won't play, before the video cuts to black. How about this? Another video titled Fart Tasks Torture, Gacha Fart, is a video where some woman is spontaneously shrunken down only to be placed under some skunk girl thing and sat on while she continuously farts and gacharias all over this innocent character. She then leaves the ending up to the watcher, allowing us to imagine a world where this tiny innocent character is left to rot for eternity. Now how fun does that sound? Another one of the most popular genres of Gacha Heat is the familial intimacy category. Let's survey a few of these videos, shall we? This one, called 5 Reasons You Should Do Familial Intimacy, details exactly what the title says. It features both the creator's real name and likely her cousin's real name, while he kind of just sits there on the bed. I'm not going to read any of these out, so pause if you really want to see your reasoning as to why this is apparently a good thing. Another video titled In Love With My Sister, Lesbian Love Story, once again has well over 100,000 views. The video, while not entirely inappropriate, is just what you expect. More videos of gacha kids who happen to be siblings falling in love with each other. There's also a part 2 to the video which I really don't want to watch. From this, I want to bring up a point that is constantly uttered but frequently contradicted in this fandom. If we take a look at these comments, we see a large number of people in the fandom voicing their disdain for these videos. Many people are urging for the stopping of the Gacha Heat trend that has persisted for 3 years, as well as some other people sympathizing with the characters or feeling traumatized themselves. However, there's actually a significant contingent of people who are actively in support of this type of content. You may be thinking, this has to be some creepy old man who loves this kind of stuff. However, I want to point out that a lot of these people are actually young girls. If you don't believe me, I went to this random Gacha Heat creators channel that's relatively popular, scrolled down in the comment section, and found this individual saying, "Can I join? I'm blonde-haired and blue-eyed," on a video about a Gacha Heat school similar to what I talked about earlier. So, we click on this profile. When we scroll down to the shorts, we see no less than 20 videos featuring the owner of this channel as no older than an 11-year-old girl from the Philippines or Southeast Asia, somewhere in that area. And this is not an isolated incident. I'm not gonna challenge you for the safety of these children to go look for this kind of stuff, but the amount of times just by looking and checking these accounts that I've seen literal 10-year-old girls commenting with great approval on these videos is undeniably one of the weirdest things I've ever seen on the internet. Whereas with other fandoms, I'd say the majority of the weird content in them comes from predominantly men in their 20s or 30s, I'd say a shocking amount of the Gacha Life content actually comes from teenage girls. It may be hard for a lot of you to wrap your heads around this, but women, psychologically, enjoy literary erotica a lot more than men on average. I don't need to pull up sources on this because you can literally just go on Book Talk and see the unholy things that some women like to read on a daily basis. But this is exactly what these Gacha Heat videos are an offshoot of. Literary smut created by teenage girls who have been groomed into liking this kind of content. Sure, your average gay fanfiction video, and the more traditional romance some tamer versions of these videos consist of, is actually expected from an awkward teenager, but these sort of mind control, abduction, and forced baby having videos are not going to be naturally acquired by your average teenage girl. Oh wait, what's that? I haven't talked about the abduction and forced baby having videos. Well, you're in for a treat. For whatever reason, there's this genre among the Gacha Heat trend that involve torturing and abducting random characters. Before we get into the crazy shit, let's start small. And by small, I mean gacha pregnancy and birth stories. Need I remind you, this is all publicly available on YouTube, made by kids, for kids, not age restricted, etc. You know the deal. If you were curious, there's an entire playlist of these videos. The first of these videos is simply titled, quote, "Giving Birth to 2 Babies, Gacha Heat / Gacha Pregnant." It may shock you that yes, this is indeed a video of a gacha wolf girl starting a reasonably large family. The creator gives us these wonderful silent film subtitles saying things like,
"So, it's time for me to give birth, haha.
Okay.
But my babies haven't wanted go come out yet.
Then, all of a sudden, she turns into a human champagne bottle and, with a face of pleasure, welcomes 2 new beautiful cat people into the world. That one was relatively tame, so let's carry on to the next video. This one, titled, Another F-Preg Subject Breeding. They had to add an exclamation point so we know how fun of a video this would be. This video, which I don't really want to explain in detail, features this faceless creature welcoming an adorable bundle of joy into this world. For whatever reason, the creator has some kind of desire to have godlike powers or something, and puts these text console things above the top where they force this character's water to break, and then forces them to deliver. Then, 2 gacha characters are magically added back inside of her, causing her to deliver 2 more times. I can't even sugarcoat this anymore. In what world should this be considered okay on YouTube's end? What world should literal children be allowed to, first of all, become groomed into liking this kind of content, and second of all, be allowed to post this shit publicly? The rest of these videos, which follow a largely similar premise, feature dudes or girls adding to their families in a sensual way, which is a sentence I never thought I'd utter. But no, of course it doesn't end there. What happens when you cross the mind control, abduction, and forced delivery barrier, you might ask? Oh, wait, you didn't ask that? Well, if you want to skip this part, even though it's going to be censored because it's still pretty gross, go to this timestamp. While searching through these videos, I came across some of the few internet videos that actually left my jaw dropped when they finished. Here, we have a video titled, Abducted and Birthed in Cell. Gacha Mpreg. No, your ears did not deceive you, and neither does this video. Thank God it's short, but essentially it features some gacha dude chained up in a prison cell, while this other guy has a sick look of satisfaction on his face while he assists the male prisoner in delivering a clone of himself into the world. Do you guys really think this is an isolated incident after all we've been through in this series? Because of course it's not. Here's one that is far more sinister in my opinion. Teen abducted and forced to welcome a bundle of joy into the world. Dude, what the actual f***? This video, which is introduced by the creator as being a mockery of the cringe trend, and that she's just testing the algorithm apparently. And I can't really imagine that to be the case. You'll see why. As the video goes on, we see a vulnerable teenage gacha girl waiting for the bus at night, only for a shadowy figure to come up behind her and put a chloroform cloth up to her mouth. She falls asleep, only to wake up on a prison bench. Her captor removes her jacket and puts her in some kind of weird, colorful sundress. She then wakes up and is injected in the abdomen with some kind of serum. Seconds later, her stomach swells to like half the size of her body, only for the shadow figure to reveal himself as this smug, psychopathic dude, watching her stomach swell with a satisfied look on his face. Then he chains her arms to the wall and forcefully aids her in delivering 4 blood-red gacha children and a final super child as the mother cries in agony. The supposedly ironic creator then puts at the top, "This is the end of the cringe." I have absolutely no words. Need I remind you that this is all public on YouTube without any age restriction? And this was made by a 16-year-old girl! There is absolutely nothing like this anywhere in any fandom I've laid eyes on. I'm seriously upset that something this insane is so easily accessible for the impressionable young minds that wander YouTube these days. What's more, the people in the comments section are acting like it's all chill that this video is put onto a public platform, saying stuff like, "At least you warned us and told us it was for testing," and "I love the way you actually showed how gross and messed up forced pregnancy is, especially on a teen. Normally when I find these videos, they're romanticizing, but unlike you, you actually showed how dark it was." Or, "Thank you for warning. I know you don't mean anything bad or gross. You are good." That second comment, by the way, was made by a 13-year-old. That's who's being shown this type of content by the YouTube algorithm. How these people can justify to themselves the horrible shit they just watched is absolutely beyond me. This is flagrantly unacceptable on YouTube's part, and the fact content like this can persist for up to 3 years and gain millions of views is a travesty to the ways of many talented and hardworking creators on this site that work their asses off to make good quality content for nothing but their own satisfaction. The videos in general are an absolute gateway drug into being abused or groomed, as the gacha fandom is primarily composed of children and young teenagers. I would wager a decent bit of money that almost all the videos I've shown today were made by people under the age of 18. That's what's so insane about this. Each fandom I've covered so far in this series is generally comprised of normal people being overshadowed by adult men making heinous and disgusting content to please a very small part of the fandom. However, with Gacha Life, we see a fandom continually engrossed in creating these disgusting videos that are freely available on YouTube. Some of them designated specifically for children. You'll notice the sheer amount of anti-heat vitriol directed at these sorts of videos, with many people talking about how nobody actually likes them. I know I'll probably get quite a few comments on this video with that same sentiment, that I'm overblowing a part of the fandom that really isn't that popular. Well, dear viewer, I implore you, explain to me how exactly these videos receive sometimes hundreds of thousands of views within weeks of their uploads. Why is this still a continuing trend that has not ended in nearly 4 years? Why, when I simply search GA in the YouTube search bar, am I immediately greeted with easy access to these search results? Why, exactly, are there playlists with well over 60 to 70 Gacha Heat videos in them, with the playlist itself comprising well over 5 million views? The algorithm isn't some kind of magical and random entity that chooses to prop up random videos or certain types of content. It props up what is currently popular and being watched by a specific niche, meaning, with the case of Gacha Heat videos, they are still undeniably a huge part of online gacha culture and comprise a large amount of the content searched for relating to the game on YouTube. And before we move on to the next part, please share this video and help it get boosted in the algorithm to make the broader YouTube community aware of how absolutely unhinged and unacceptable this type of content is here. Your little brothers, cousins, nephews, and future children will thank you. But wait. You thought it was over? Nope! We've got a whole other website to explore, which, if you've watched my videos before, you're intimately familiar with. Hey, we're back here again, and once you know it, it's absolutely out of fucking control. Where do I even begin? How about this group that has 7,500 members, most of whom are children? How do I know that? Let's take a look at this insane post. Made by an anonymous participant, we see an image that says, "If this is your age, I'll teach you privately." Wanna guess what the age range is? Try 10 to fucking 21 years old. And under it, you unfortunately have people saying stuff like, "I'm 14," or 11, me, or "I'm 11, so," or "I'm 13," and people who are 10, 11, 13. It just keeps going on. Here's another post where some guy asks, "Which of these are you using now?" with a bunch of pictures of women's underwear, with a bunch of girls responding. And wouldn't you know it, if we click on one of these girls' profiles, who is from a Southeast Asian country, one of the photos that she has posted is of herself. And she is undoubtedly under the age of 11 years old. On this post, we see somebody asking young girls to describe the hair in their area. And there's a lot of replies here, and it's genuinely just really sad, honestly. Another post showcases the type of predators that exist in environments like this. Someone posted a messenger chat talking to someone who likes speaking weirdly and using a lot of emojis. This dude then says he's a 7-year-old little girl and that he, quote, lives in USA, which I don't really buy. The other dude doesn't either. Then this fake child sends a picture he ripped off someone's Twitter account to prove that he's, quote, 7 years old. If this shit couldn't get any weirder, he then breaks character, sends a fake picture of his to this person, and then he talks about pounding this guy's little boy hole. He says this is all about finding femboys, and that apparently he can only do this by pretending to be a 7-year-old girl. What? This shit does not feel real. I don't know about y'all, but this group just keeps fucking going. We have posts like this one. "Say hello and I'll show it to you," with a number of kids also commenting on this one. Here's another post of a girl between 14 and 15 based on her Facebook bio saying, "I kinda like it when someone was role-playing with me like this," featuring some fat old dude tying up and assaulting some woman. Also, if it wasn't obvious, there are some people just posting straight up NSFW videos and images in this group, inhabited by people as young as 10 fucking years old. Honestly, I'm gonna have to make a video about this out of Facebook because it is still out of control and they have made zero effort to fix this problem in the years after getting called out for having this type of content behavior all over the site anyways. Well, thanks for voting that to be the next Fallen Fandoms, assholes. Much like the previous fandoms, which have incredibly deranged sub-communities lying somewhere on the internet, the Gacha Life fandom presents itself quite differently from the normal Fallen fandom. Most of it is easily accessible in public. It's not buried on some 18+ site or found in the archives of an archaic fanfiction page. It's right there, literally 2 letters and a click away. But, similarly to the Bluey fandom, we have an absolutely unhinged and unmoderated Facebook chat that is filled to the brim with predators and young children in a chaotic cesspool of and grooming. If the Loud House had the largest sheer amount of NSFW content, and the Bluey fandom has the darkest depths of any fandom I've seen, this one takes the cake of having the widest footprint among children themselves, which is its own form of horrible. But, other than that, I think you've seen enough. Sorry for taking so long in this video, my schedule was absolutely insane again, but thankfully, that's it for this video. Stay tuned, I'll see you in the next one.